Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I have a project for you today. This, I think, will be my last Valentine's project for the year because, as you know, if you are a paper crafter or if you make things, you need to get your supplies in before the holidays. So this weekend, I would suggest would be, if you still haven't ordered Valentine's Day supplies, would be the last time to order them so that you can get them in time, just barely enough time to get projects done for Valentine's Day. So today's project is a Valentine's Day project, and it is very similar to the project I did yesterday with the butterfly punch. But today's project, instead of butterflies, we are doing a project with the heart punch. If you saw my project yesterday, you will notice that there are some similarities, but there are also some differences because I am using a different punch. I'm using paper, and so I've made some tweaks for this project. And so I will have also made a project sheet. So if you're an email list subscriber, or if you want to subscribe to my email list, you will get this mailed to you tomorrow on Saturday. So if you are not already a subscriber to my email list, just look down below in the description of the video, and there is a link that you can sign up. And then on Saturday, I mail you out this project sheet. This is, you don't need it. You can definitely do this project with just by following my video. But what is nice, a lot of people tell me they like to print out the project sheet and they can just work from it. After they've seen the video, they know how everything works, and they just need like a little bit of a hint as to the measurements and what step to do next. And I like to use it when I'm creating my project because then it's easy to follow along, because sometimes my brain will skip steps. Even though I designed the project, I'm like skipping ahead or doing something out of order, which might not be the best way to do it. So it's nice to have that project sheet in hand, and it's nice to have like a little picture that you can follow along. You know, you can slip it in a binder afterwards, and then you have it for future reference. If you're looking for a project, then you have it there and it's handy, and you don't have to figure out what email, which folder, wherever you put it. It's in your binder right at your desk. Okay, let me stick that aside. Let me switch over cameras so I can show you better what supplies that I use for today. So here are the little guys that I made, and I used the From My Heart Designer Series paper. It's in the mini catalog right now. It goes along with this bundle, and it's just really pretty. I used 3 different patterns. I think it would work from at least one side of each of the patterns. You just choose a pattern, and I'll show you a little trick that I use to save on paper when I'm doing this project. So those are 3 little guys that I made, and I'll do one other different pattern so you can see how I would do this with 4 different patterns. And we're using the Heartfelt Bundle, and it consists of the Heartfelt stamp set and the Heart Punch pack. So this all together is a bundle, and I believe in the US it's $45.75. So if you get this bundle and you spend just a little bit more, like $5 more approximately, you will get a celebration stamp set out of, not necessarily stamp set, product. There are other products in there. There's paper, there's a punch, there's stamp sets, and there's level 1 and level 2, and you can get a level 1 reward out of the celebration catalog until March 31st. So you just need to spend at least $50. So it's for every $50 or $100 that you spend, you get a reward item. So it's a great time to pick up products because there's some cute little stamp sets in there. My favorite is the little meerkat stamp set. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So getting the bundle, great time to get it. And I love the coordination between these two. And I've done a few projects with this Heartfelt Bundle, so If you look up on my blog, also the link will be down below. If you click directly onto this project, you'll be able to get to all my other projects from there. But I've done a bunch of projects with this, so lots of cute Valentine stuff you can do with this bundle. Okay, and for those of you that missed it yesterday, this was my project from yesterday. So you can see they are a little bit similar. This one's very springy and this one is like all about hearts. So both projects are really fun, kind of done in a similar way, but I'll show you some tricks with this heart one. Okay, so let's start off with a little base. We're gonna create the base. So basically with this one, to save on designer series paper, I decided that I would use cardstock for the back and the bottom and designer series paper for the front. So we're starting with a little bit different of a start point from this one. So this piece measures 2 7/8 inches by 6 3/4 inches. Then I'll just bring in my scoring board, put in, I'm trying to keep this straight and square. Sometimes it's hard. My camera gets shifted and then everything looks a little wonky. So this piece, long side up at the top, you're going to score at the 4 1/4 inch mark and the 6 1/4 inch mark. Very easy peasy score measurements. And then you'll fold this along the score lines. And we'll just set this aside for a moment while we deal with the front piece. Then I cut a piece of that designer series paper, and this piece is 2 7/8 by 4 1/4 inches. And then we're going to take the smooth sided heart from that punch pack that comes in the bundle, and we'll just punch on one of the short sides. You just want to make sure that it's centered from side to side. Pretty easy to do because the paper is almost the same size as the punch. And then punch through, so that creates your little window. And then we want to create a little frame. Sorry, my brain's not working. A little frame for this window so it shows up a little better. So I'm just going to take a piece, this is just regular Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to punch into here. You don't need this heart right here. You can set it aside for another project if you want. And I'm going to take my scallop heart. Also comes in the bundle. You get 2 punches in that bundle, so it's really cool. And then I'm just going to make sure this looks pretty even. You can see the white right here. And then just give it a little punch. And that creates a little frame that we're going to use to glue on right here. And good morning to everyone who's joined me. If you have a question while I'm doing this, please ask it. It's so much easier to answer it while I'm live on the air. And if you're joining me afterwards, no worries, just put it down in the comments and I will get to it as soon as I see it. So I just put a tiny bit of glue on that frame. Grab this, and then I'm going to add this right onto here. Oops. It's now stuck to my fingers. All right. So I just want to frame that up. So it just helps define the window and it makes this little piece look so cute. So now we'll bring this back in, and this is what I call the tab end because it's just the little extra end that's sticking out right there. And then I'm just going to adhere this right to the tab, making sure the edge lines up with the score line. Sometimes it's easier to put it like right down on your work surface so that you make sure that the designer series paper is flush with the end. Just make sure that it's lined up from side to side. So that's the first difference in the project from yesterday. cardstock back, paper front. It's nice to have the cardstock back instead of doing the whole thing paper, because the paper is lighter and the lighter paper won't be as sturdy. So if you just have the front being light, it's still, it has enough stability in the back, but it creates the pretty in the front and the stability in the back. So that's one great thing about doing this. It also saves you some of your designer series paper because you're cutting a much smaller piece. So that's a nice little saver pack. The second thing that's different is instead of using the printed gusseted cellophane bags out of the mini catalog, I'm going back to the annual catalog and using the 3x6 gusseted cellophane bags. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm using the designer series paper, which has already got a really pretty pattern on it. So I don't feel like I need this pattern on here. However, if you have just the printed ones, you could use them on here too. But I wanted to show how you can use both bags. I designed this project so you can use them with both types of bags. So I'm just going to open this up here. And these bags here are a lot shorter, which you'll see in a minute. So you'll just stick this inside here. And you bring it down. Push your cardstock all the way to the bottom. And you're going to have this little flap here again. So I just take a regular piece of Scotch tape because maybe I'm a little bit lazy. I could maybe stick it down with tear and tape if you wanted like it to be more concealed, but I find that this is concealed enough. And then you just bring this to the bottom, and then I'm just going to tape this down so that it kind of stays down and doesn't flap around when you pick it up. Okay, so now if you want to, while you have this here, you're going to see that you have a little bit of overhang. So make sure everything's lined up, kind of up at the top. And then you can take some scissors and just cut off the excess. And the reason I'm doing this is because there's not that much excess to fold over. You could fold it over, but it's so little that it's hard to fold over, I think. Oh, I missed a spot right here. So I'm just creating this so that it's flush with the top of the bag. And then I'll bring in some candy, and I'm using, these are Valentine's Hershey's Kisses. You could just use the silver kisses too. They look pretty either way. It's nice to have a little bit of red and pink in there. It livens it up a little bit. There's so many different kinds of candy that you can put in here though. So I would just pick something kind of pretty and sparkly, or just something that catches the light, because you've got the opening here and you've got the window up at the front, so you want to make it look kind of pretty when you're doing that. Let me follow along and make sure that I'm doing everything that I said I would do in order. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of paper, Whisper White, to create a topper. And I changed the dimensions a little bit from the other topper I did. This one is 3 by 2.5. And the reason I made it a little bit wider, I'll show you in a second. You need to score this at the 1 1/4 inch mark. So the 2.5 inch side is up at the top, and then score at the 1 1/4 inch mark. So the reason I made it a little bit longer is my greetings in this stamp set are a little bit taller, and I needed a little bit extra height. So that way you can choose a few of the different greetings to put on here, just because I made it a little taller. Then you're going to take your detail trio punch, and there's a corner rounder on here. I need to stand up to use this. There's a corner rounder here, so you'll just make sure that you put your piece all the way in and give it a little punch. This just makes the edges look a little prettier. Okay, scoot those ends to the side. And then I'm going to stamp my greeting with real red ink. And I'm just going to be boring. I'm going to use the same greeting over and over again. So this one is from my heart to yours. It's, you know, just a simple happy greeting. You could use this not only for Valentine's Day, you could use it for other occasions as well. So I'm just going to stamp this pretty close to the bottom because I'm going to have that little clip up here at the top, so I don't want to get too close to my score line. And then I'm going to take my Flirty Flamingo ink pad, and there's a little tiny heart that also comes in that stamp set, and I'm just going to stamp that a few times. When you're stamping a little itty bitty stamp like this, you need to be really careful not to smush it into your ink pad. Our ink pads are very spongy, and they're have a firm foam surface, but the firm is actually a misnomer because these aren't very firm. It's a piece of foam, and it really has great contact on our stamps, so we have really nicely stamped images, but you can't smush your stamp into there. So think tap, 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 okay? Really lightly. And then you're gonna stamp right here, and then one more time over here, just to kind of, you know, add just a few little hearts. There's some other hearts in that collection too, so you could play around and change your topper. I like to keep things a little bit similar because I tend to think about wanting to display these in a group, or like say you're running a craft fair, or say you're doing a group thank you, or you're handing them out to a group. You want them to look nice as a group. So then you'll just fold this along the score line, and then we're going to take the same, where are they? These are the little mini library clips. They come in white and silver, and you're just going to have one of those handy. You'll put this little guy right on top, and let's see if I can do this. I find it easier with these clips you want to hold it's firmly in the one hand and then squeeze with the other. I have a hard time doing this one-handed because they're so small, but they're just perfect for tying these up at the top. So there you go, there it is. That is all there is to it. And so there are 12 patterns in this designer series paper. Some of the back patterns aren't always the best for this, but you know, you can see right here where I use 4 of the different patterns, and they all look super cute, right? None of them look worse than the other. So you can see how you can use different patterns. I like to look for a nice neutral pattern, one that isn't too busy. So look at the sides of the paper and find one that's, you know, not got as much going on. That way it makes the whole flow of these little guys look a little better. So what do you think of that? I mean, they're super cute, aren't they? Yay. All right, let me flip over here and see if there's any questions. Good morning to everyone. Diana from Texas. And I've got Narcy and the Bling Bling Crafter is here, and Ver Blue from Tennessee. And again, rain in Tennessee. Oh my gosh. And I have sunshine here today, but I think we're gonna get bad weather on the weekend. So yeah, it's funny because weather comes around. There's very few places on this earth where the weather is very consistent. So one day it's sunny, one day it's raining, right? Good morning, Teresa in Oregon, and hello, Cheryl. And someone that I can't pronounce, and I'm sorry about that. And oh, and Narcy says she can't wait to make these for many occasions. Yeah, this is a great little design with a cellophane bag. I have one more design that I will share with you, but that will have to wait until next week. And I'm going to use one more punch to show you what else you can do with this little pattern. So it's nice. It's a nice, easy pattern that can be replicated with other stamps, but it's nice to see how you can, bring in different things. Like the first day I had the printed cellophane bags with just plain cardstock. Today I use designer series paper with the plain cellophane bags. So you can see how you can tweak things a little bit, change them around, make your topper a little larger if you have a bigger greeting. So you need to think about, just tweaking it a little bit, and then you can use it with a variety of different punches. So isn't that cute? So again, it's celebration. So I hope you will think about getting the heart punch. And if you choose me as a demonstrator, thank you so much. I reward all my customers with a free tutorial. Every month I have a free exclusive tutorial that you can either pay to get, or you can get it free with an order. And so I like to reward my customers with that. So the other thing, if you like my projects, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps me out, because then my YouTube channel gets more views and other people can find my projects. So I really appreciate that. And if you want to get notified when I go live, make sure you click on that little bell so you can get notifications for that. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and tomorrow that project sheet will be coming in the mail if you're an email list subscriber. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Bye-bye.